Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Wacky Wednesday live stream. Looks like the market is on fire, and this is actually what is going on. So let's not talk about it. Let's jump right into what we got. So today, as you may already have known, Bitcoin's pumped roughly around 10%. Now, I know here in 24 hours it says 7.6%, but they're taking a look at like the 24-hour to 24-hour time frame from 68,459. But if you go from the bottom, around 67,000 now to 73, almost 74,000. Roughly about 10%. Not a bad time. And of course, when we get stuff like this, everybody's super happy. Like the fear and greed index not too long ago was like at 5, which is lower than what it was when FTX, Voyager, and Celsius collapsed. 5. And of course, there's a bunch of different narratives for that, but we can just see that today is looking pretty good and everybody is elated. And I love it. It's great to see. I love the joy. I love to see a little bit of happiness and hopium just grab hold of everybody and, propel us forward. And of course, that's what you see on the thumbnail as we hit a price of 73,000. But as a reminder, don't get too crazy out there, because just a couple of weeks ago, I think it was, this was my thumbnail. Down and more down. So we went from almost 80,000 down to 73,890, which is essentially almost the price it is today. So wherever you're at, just take it for the win and make it actually good for you. So what is going on? Well, first of all, I have to give a shout out to Ivan on Tech and his bull mania. They did call a bullish 1 week and 19 hours ago. And since they called the bullish time frame, which they do mostly in the weekly, it's up 10%. So again, congratulations. That's what happens when you do some monstrous things in one day. And I got to tell you, Bitcoin's doing great. It's almost acting like how it's supposed to be, a store of value, although people who have read the white paper from Satoshi Nakamoto will say that's not what it is. It's peer-to-peer transactions. Whatever it is, right now the price is going up. Let's see if it actually can continue that. And silver over the last 3 days is down 12%, kind of disheartening. And over the last 24 hours, oh, that can't be right. Let me refresh this. APMX always makes me go with this to prove that I am actually a human being. 24 hours, up 1%. Gold, well, actually less than 1%. Over 3 days, down 4%. And over a week, pretty much flat. So, precious metals are going to do what they do. They're the store of values, I feel. But I think Bitcoin as a digital store of value could be very, very well enticing. So why is that? What's happening? Well, it's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy. Once you start to go up, which everybody has been talking about this negative bull market. However, historically speaking, like we talked about yesterday, there is traditionally a March type of relief rally. And usually when the 4-year cycles happen, in Q4, you get decimated. In January and February, you're pretty much just slogging downwards and bleeding. This is usually a little bit of a pump. And this is what maybe we're into right now. Could be that, but it's interesting to me how many people went short, and they got liquidated, roughly 500 million of them in the last 24 hours. So congratulations to the longs and shorts. Well, it's just pretty much how it actually is. So what's going on? What could be some of the reasons? Well, if you're a TA person, there is no reason. That's just what price does. But if you take a look at the different narratives that are out there, it's quite compelling. First of all, this is from the current president of the United States, Donald J. Trump. This is from Truth Social. Actually posted about this last night around 6:30, somewhere around there. As he posted this, the Genius Act is being threatened and undermined by the banks. That is unacceptable. Won't allow it. Americans should earn more money on their money. I have to agree with this. This totally makes sense. Unfortunately, the banks that we use, don't want to give us any type of yield, because that would totally mess up this little system called fractional reserve lending. And that's where they get all their money from. I'm not against the free market. I'm just telling you, that's just what they want. That's the big thing. And Donald Trump is saying, look, you're going to play this game. You're going to stop. I want you guys to bend the knee. And I want you to actually come to the table and get this thing passed, because this is good for my, essentially, presidential position. Banks are hitting record profits, and we're not going to allow them to undermine our powerful crypto agenda that will end up going to China and other countries if we don't get the Clarity Act taken care of, essentially saying pass the bill. Just go through it. Obviously, the banks can't pass the bill. The exchanges can't pass the bill, but they want them to meet and negotiate and try to do some type of give and take. And it probably will happen. It's at some point. Both sides are going to lose in some way, shape, or form. It's not like the bank's going to take the big fat L and walk out and go, "Well, that was awesome." No, they're going to take that hit. They're going to move forward, and then they're going to try to get us in some other type of area. Hopefully the exchanges and crypto and digital asset space is smart enough to sidestep them just a little bit legally and perform yield in other ways, shapes, and form. And he finishes up by this by saying banks need to make a good deal with the crypto industry because that's what's in the best interest of the American people. So we had that, Trump coming out publicly and saying, come on, get going. Also, like we talked about in yesterday's video, the Strait of Hormuz, I think I'm saying that right, probably not, but whatever. And that, of course, is in the Middle East. That is where there is nothing but, not nothing but a ton of oil tankers are being pushed or sent through there. It is a massive, massive area where all different natural resources gets pushed through on barges. There's a big open area of ocean. And then through that area, that is where all the oil gets sent out into the rest of the world. Unfortunately, Iran is targeting that, and they are targeting different vessels, ships, and things like that. And because of that, the insurance companies that insure those tankers say, thanks for the premiums, we're not gonna cover you. So this is what happened. Donald J. Trump, effective immediately, I've ordered the United States Development Finance Corporation, DFC, to provide at a very reasonable price political risk insurance and guarantees for the financial security of all maritime trade, especially energy traveling through the Gulf. This will be available to all shipping lines. I got to tell you, mixed feelings in this one because, who's paying for this if a ship gets sunk? Is it some mythical person or a business? No, it's probably the taxpayer. They're going to be paying for that. This looks pretty cut and dry. I could be wrong. Correct me in the comments section. However, if we don't do that, you know what's going to happen? Inflation is going to spike like crazy. We can't get oil. Oil prices go up. And guess what? All the different goods that you are getting have to arrive to you in some way, shape, or form. And it usually takes oil and gas. And without that, everything goes up. So oil is pretty much important. And that's why he made it. Let's see if it works out. Hope it does. Hope it does. Hope it does. And then lastly, this is just a rumor. This is from Adam Kobishi from the Kobishi letter. And it looks like a rumor, but it's a good one. New developments this morning. New York Times is reporting that Iran made a secret offer through a foreign country's spy agency to end the war with the United States. New York Times also reports that President Trump has stopped promoting his initial scenario of popular uprising. Instead, he seems to view the best outcome as more pragmatic figures emerging atop the existing political structure. Over the last 12 months, President Trump has proven he's highly receptive, So let's see if that's actually true. These, of course, is rumors, but because of rumors and momentum like that, you get stuff like this. So let me know what you think about that in the comment section. Maybe this is actually feasible. But I will say, somebody knows something. And you can just see that with the inflows, the Bitcoin ETFs. The invasion, I shouldn't say invasion, the military operation in Iran, I believe was roughly 20th of February. I don't know if that was at midnight, 2 a.m., not for sure. Kind of forgets, correct me in the comments. But 20th of February is when we had that skirmish. And on the 2nd of March and 3rd of March, you can see that there was some pretty heavy inflows into the Bitcoin ETF. And today we'll see what's happened. I would probably think that we had a massive amount of inflows as well. But as far as total goes, we got a lot of people buying a lot of Bitcoin as far as ETF goes. And if we just take a look at cumulatively, you can see that we started from nothing. Now here we are at, what is that, in millions, 62 billion, 503 million. And of course, we've gone up in the last time as we hit a little bit of a low and then take a bump up. So we'll see if that will continue. But again, somebody knows something. And also, congratulations to Kraken as they become the first crypto firm approved for a Federal Reserve master account. What the heck does that mean? First of all, Kraken has a Wyoming chartered sector. And this Wyoming chartered banking arm secured a limited, what's called the skinny Federal Reserve master account from the Kansas City Fed, enabling direct access to U.S. payment systems like FedWire for faster settlements. This will be the first such approval for a crypto native firm since its application all the way back in 2020. It only took them 6 years to get this right. That's pretty amazing. And actually, if you take a look here, they were the first, and the second was Custodia Bank. I thought it was the other way around, but Custodia Bank, also out of Wyoming, congratulates Kraken Bank for obtaining its Fed Master account. Kraken was the first crypto-native company to apply for a Fed Master account, and Custodia was the second. So hopefully the domino chips will fall, but congratulations again to Kraken. Now you've gone essentially completely TradFi. And because of that, they're going to increase your fees. Kraken's newly introduced 0.3% fee on Bitcoin Lightning deposits. I thought that was free. That's kind of crazy. Not definitely not 0.3%, but I guess it is now. Comes just days before the exchange revealed it secured a Federal Reserve master account for a direct Fed wire access. So that's just pretty much how it goes. As we move into TradFi, we become TradFi. And lastly, positive news, like to end on a positive note. Congratulations. The ISM, US February ISM Services PMI, which is the business cycle, as everybody likes to talk about now, all the cool kids are talking about it, is at 56.1, highest level since 2022. Estimation was 53.5, came up with 56.1. US economy is on fire. And we talked about this at length when we talked a lot about M2, QT, QE, business cycle, PMI. As a reminder, there's two types of essentially PMI. The services PMI, which is 70% of the US economy. And that is what we were talking about here. 70% of the US economy is doing quite well at 56.1. Now you can see, historically speaking, we were down below 52.7. That's good. That means it's accelerating. What I'd like to see is the manufacturing PMI or ISM manufacturing PMI go up. And yes, I understand the whole business cycle where they say like, we were up above 60. And that's how high we have to go to hit all-time highs. That's not true. If you take a look at this scale, in 2025, I believe in February 6th, we hit an all-time high of $126,000, and we were at 48. And that's for manufacturing. Now, if we come over here for services, we're barely above 53. So I understand that, yes, we need to be above 50. We're up above 50 now, and we're roughly 50% or 42% away from its all-time high. We'll see if it all plays out, but yes, we're in the right direction, and that's it for today. So look, like today's video, give a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and we talk about is time sensitive. Now let's get into the little Q&A, and I'll answer all your questions to the best of my abilities. And then I got to get out of here because I'm going to be late for an appointment. So let's get here. Let's get here. I live here. Meme does live here. Everybody knows. Rusty Bot, the Irrational, Rusty Bot. Good afternoon. Excuse me. Let's see. Gatsby Fee says the Kurds will get upset if Trump makes a deal behind their back. There's so much deal making going on right now. Who knows? But again, it is very interesting because it looks like the Central Command has been cut off. So I don't know who's really running what. It's very difficult. And I got to tell you, I think both sides are probably spreading misinformation to keep everybody on their toes. So the stuff that you might get from the geopolitical channels, I look at that, I'm like, yeah, maybe. I mean, rumors are fun to talk about. They're almost as fun as like price predictions. They're both pretty much worthless, but they are fun to talk about. So that's pretty much it. But I mean, look, hopefully there is some type of peace deal. Nobody wants massive amount of war and World War III to break out and both sides getting nuked and mutual assured destruction, all that stuff. Don't want that on my bingo card. All right. Let's see, William says, it's a good question. Ben, I'm going to guess Benjamin Cowan, has been saying we'd head up right now and then sell off. Do we sell this pump? You know, there's nothing wrong with taking profits. It's great. Feels good. You know, you actually like you feel like you've accomplished something. And, you know, they say that Bitcoin is freedom. And it's great to have freedom when you can actually use the Bitcoin that you have invested in and you have taken the hard-earned time to learn about it. And someone, you know, you've sold it off so someone else can have the same opportunity that you had. Congratulations. You're doing great things. And when you have those funds in hand, you can do the things you want to do, which could be like pay off massive amount of debt. Or maybe it's to stop being homeless. Maybe it's to afford that kidney that you needed, whatever it is. Whatever the things it is that you want to buy to make your life pleasurable here while you still have time on this planet, do those things. Because time is the only thing that is truly, truly, truly finite. So yeah, I would say if you want to take some profits, feel good. Then later on, watch it crash. Yeah, I know. That was a pretty bad analogy. Hey, stop being homeless as you're listening to this YouTube live stream on your MacBook Pro. Yeah, come on. That was pretty bad of me. All right. Oh, this wasn't a lie. I also heard this too. I thought it was BS. Brian Armstrong met with Trump a few hours before he sent out that tweet. Yeah, I heard about that. I was like, no way did that happen. I guess so. Looks like Brian Armstrong is he's the lever, doing leverage everywhere, leveraging opportunities and contacts. Good for him. Tom Lee couldn't be wrong, could he? I don't know. That guy is extremely entertaining. I do like Tom Lee. I do like his price predictions. I did a whole video on like all the price predictions 2021. It's actually in my crypto critical videos. There's a link in the description where I just talk about it. All the people who got 2021 wrong. And the one that got it wrong the most was me. So I make fun of people, but I also make fun of myself. It's actually actually one of my favorite videos. Whoever talks to Trump last wins, probably so. No, Cointelegraph confirmed that Armstrong knows Trump. Let's see. I have a patio door. And I think that's it. I think I answered everybody's question. I'm feeling pretty good about today. It's a good day, right? Take the green days as a win. Take the red days as opportunities. Everything will be just fine. Everybody, that's it for today. Like today's video, thumbs up, subscribe, all that great stuff. Gotta go walk some dogs. I'll see you guys later. Have a great rest of your day. Adios.